Welcome to the AI for Career Success podcast by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI. I'm your host, Fred Jones, and this is episode 207.
And I'm Daphne Blake. It is so great to be here to talk about today's topic.
Yeah, it really is. So today we're looking at an article by Rachel Kleinman. It's titled, AWS to buy 1M GPUs from Nvidia as chipmaker eyes $1T.
Right.
And this was published on LinkedIn on March 24th, 2026. This isn't just, a standard tech news update. It's a look at a massive shift in AI infrastructure.
It absolutely is. I mean, we are talking about NVIDIA supplying 1 million GPUs to Amazon Web Services by 2027.
Wow.
Yeah, and deliveries are actually starting this year. This all came from a Reuters interview with NVIDIA's VP, Ian Buck.
1 million GPUs. That number is just... It's kind of hard to even wrap your head around, right?
Oh, totally. And it perfectly lines up with what NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang has been saying. He projects that overall sales for their new Rubin and Blackwell chip families will actually hit $1 trillion.
The trillion.
Yeah, $1 trillion.
That is just wild. I mean, to capture that kind of scale, think of it like a major city deciding to buy, I don't know, 1 million high-performance Formula One engines.
Ah, that's a really good way to picture it.
Right, because you can't just stack 1 million F1 engines in some standard municipal parking garage.
Definitely not.
You'd need, specialized high-octane fuel, totally new reinforced roads, industrial cooling. The raw power is completely useless without the roads to drive them on.
Exactly. And that sets up the physical reality of these new architectures so perfectly. These Blackwell and Rubin chips run incredibly hot.
I bet.
So you need highly specialized liquid cooling infrastructure. A cloud provider can't just plug 1 million of these into a standard server rack from 5 years ago.
Right. They need totally new plumbing. Which kind of brings us to this idea of the full stack Trojan horse.
Yes. This is such a crucial point. Dermot McGrath actually highlighted this in Decrypt. NVIDIA isn't just shipping raw compute power anymore.
Right. It's not just the standalone chips.
No, they are shipping the networking, the physical rack architecture, the high-speed data switches, the whole stack. And it's all embedded right inside AWS.
Wow.
Yeah, it's essentially the CUDA playbook, but moved one layer up. First they locked in developers with their software years ago, and now they are locking in cloud providers with the actual physical infrastructure.
But, okay, let me push back on that for a second. Because AWS is a behemoth, right? They make their own custom chips, like Trainium and Inferentia.
They do.
So why on earth are they letting NVIDIA just roll this entire closed ecosystem Trojan horse into their own house? Aren't they giving up a ton of control?
Well, it really comes down to customer choice. AWS wants to maintain that flexibility at all costs.
Okay, how so?
So the broader market absolutely demands NVIDIA hardware right now. If AWS locked them out to force people onto Amazon's own custom chips, those enterprise customers would just leave.
Oh, they just migrate to a different cloud provider entirely.
Exactly. So AWS allows customers to run both NVIDIA hardware and AWS's own custom chips in the exact same systems.
Okay, so it's a flexibility thing that closed-off rivals just can't match.
You got it. It's a very smart, calculated strategy to be the ultimate neutral ground.
Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the AI for Career Success podcast, where we help you get smarter than your competition by coaching you in AI.
So before the break, we talked about this massive million-chip megacity being built. But I have to ask why right now? Why this frantic build-out in 2026?
Well, the main catalyst is this massive shift toward inference.
Inference. Okay, let's break that down for the listener.
Yeah, so for the past several years, the industry was focused almost entirely on training the models, which is incredibly compute heavy.
Right. So if we use an analogy, training is like studying for the exam.
That's a perfect way to put it. You're teaching the model, feeding it data, but inference is when that fully trained model is out in the real world, receiving data and generating responses in real time.
Ah, so inference is actually taking the test.
Exactly, and the market has shifted drastically. Inference now accounts for roughly two-thirds of all AI compute.
Wait, two-thirds? Really?
Yeah, it's a staggering jump from just about one-third back in 2023.
Wow, that is a huge flip.
It is, and Deloitte even estimates that the inference chip market will exceed $50 billion by 2026.
So we're moving from just studying to basically taking the test for millions of users all at the exact same time.
Exactly. And that requires an entirely different scale of infrastructure. You need specialized chips that can process those requests instantly and cost-effectively.
Okay, so let's bring this right down to ground level. Because most people listening aren't buying a million GPUs, right?
No, definitely not.
So why does this shift matter for their career or, their business strategy?
It matters because the cloud is basically becoming the default AI factory. The barrier to entry for complex AI workloads is dropping incredibly fast.
Right, because you don't have to buy the hardware yourself anymore.
Exactly. The focus is shifting from acquiring scarce, expensive hardware to simply deploying intelligent software at scale.
So it's basically becoming a utility, like turning on a light switch.
That's exactly what it is. You don't need to build your own power plant to use electricity, right? You just plug into the grid. And AWS and Nvidia are basically building the ultimate AI power grid.
Yeah, and think about how that completely changes the nature of competition in any industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if everyone has access to that raw compute power, then having the biggest servers isn't an advantage anymore. The playing field is leveled.
Right. The competitive advantage is now entirely about your creativity and your application of these tools.
So it's about who can drive the car the fastest, not who owns the engine.
Precisely. Faster data analytics, sophisticated conversational AI, advanced content generation, it's all just at your fingertips now. The friction of deployment is basically gone.
That is just incredible.
Yeah.
So to wrap up today, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Yeah, this is the really important part.
If Nvidia and AWS are preparing for a world where AI is embedded in literally absolutely everything, are your own career and infrastructure plans ready for that shift?
It's a big question.
It really is. Like, what is the very first project you are going to launch when this kind of scalable AI power is just a click away? Thank you for listening to the AI for Career Success podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Please buy us a coffee and remember that we're experts at coaching you and your employees about AI. We'll see you next time.